I consider all of Igbo land to be my home. From Enugu to Anambra, Imo, Abia, Ebonyi, and the Igbo-speaking communities in Rivers, in Kogi, in Benue, in Delta. All of them are home because all of them are Igbo land. Igbo, Igbo. Whenever I land at an airport, whether in Asaba or in Enugu or in Owerri or the wonderfully named Chino Achebe International Airport in Umueri, the overwhelming feeling for me is one of wholeness, an internal calm, an instinctive, ancestral peace.
Okay, the Sultan of Sokoto is in big panic right now. He's saying how we the North and how he himself will survive if Nigeria breaks. Now he's telling the UK government to repay the 6 trillion pounds that the Biafras are due. He said this is the only way the Igbos can stay in Nigeria, and this is the only way Nigeria can remain as one. The Igbos are saying must we stay as one. It's our time they have their own country. The Sultan is saying from his heart of heart, Nigeria must stay as one. The UK and Tinubu should do the needful by settling the Igbos. What do you take as a guy?
I'm going to tell you that it is irrespective of anybody's opinion, whether they know how to survive or not, whether they have what it takes to survive or not, they must at some point allow the people to go. Because there's no better way to say it. You have been leveraging on the resources from Biafra land, and enough is enough. Because whether we like it or not, they are already seeing signal from international community. Recently, we saw what happened at Israeli assets, and most recently we are seeing a former ambassador of America coming out clearly to say the way it is, talking about Nigeria secession. We have seen Mike Arnold, who have even come out clearly to say the way it is. So it is irrespective of anybody's opinion, because they are the ones that have been leveraging on the resources of Nigeria, and they refuse to surrender their own resources to the national coffers. So whether they have what it takes to survive or not, they should allow other people to go. I think it's very clear. Because for me, there is nothing sacrosanct about Nigeria, to the extent that God, by providence, did not create the people as one. It is the British that brought everyone together without even asking whether they want to be together or not.
But can they survive without the Igbos or without the oil in Nigeria?
They should go and leverage on the groundnut. We used to have the era of groundnut pyramid in Kano, the era of agriculture. They should go back to agriculture. That's the truth. Because the resources they are leveraging on, they are even enjoying more than places where the resources come from. There is no way you tell me that why should a place like Jigawa be having 27 local government, a place like Kano 44 local government, and the two were together before they carved Jigawa out of Kano state. Put together, they are talking about 77 local governments. And a place like Delta just 25. A place like River State about 23. A place like Bayelsa just 8. I think Lagos is about 20. So if you are sharing resources on the basis of number of states, so the local government, it means those places will have more resources than the south. Yet they do not bring anything to the table, and somebody will say, how do we survive? So they should look inward and survive through cattle rearing, through agriculture. They should not be looking at someone's air resources. After all, they have solid mineral, they have gold, they have rare earth. They should survive with those ones and allow those who God has given oil to survive with their oil. Because there is no, if they were not killing other people, it's a different thing. Look at the way even the Fulani terrorists, the Fulani bandits are killing other people in the country. Look at what is even happening in Kwara State recently. It has even gone to Ondo State recently, where a monarch was killed after he refused being kidnapped, where a police station in our local government area was completely burned down. And they are the last people that came into this part of the world. They came here around 14th century, made the people of Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, and other ethnic minorities. Even up to today, they are in the minority when they talk of the major ethnic groups. Because according to Wikipedia, the Fulani are just about 50 million people, whereas the indigenous people of Hausa are about 60 million people. So how come they now completely subjugate the Hausa people? And that subjugation is what they want to extend to the southern part of the country. Because as we speak, it was even on recent that someone made me to understand that when they even go to Kano State, where you have 44 local governments, that Out of that, for the local government, 30-something have Fulanis as their local government chairman. So they cannot be controlling everybody. According to the same Wikipedia, the Yorubas are about 50 million people. The Igbos are about 40 million people. So how can 50 million people be controlling other ethnic groups? For me, it's a misnomer, and you see that is why this genuine call for Biafra sovereignty, you cannot kill it. Because it born out of genuine interest of the people to have themselves governed in a better way than we have presently. Because there is no way you tell me that as we have it, they are talking about state creation to pacify the Igbos. Is that what you use to pacify somebody, a people you have for a long time been taking away, they are taking their resources? Look at even the salt mineral as we have it currently. Even as they are mining it, it is in the hands of the few. Can we say in all honesty that the same way they bring resources, the revenue that come from crude to national coffers, is that the same way they are bringing the resources coming from solid mineral to national coffers? It's just in the hands of the few of a few privileged individuals. And yet you have bandits, terrorists who are of Fulani extraction. What is their problem? I know why they are even worried, because even of late we have even seen American Congress, like 2 American congressmen, Raleigh Moore and Chris Smith, sponsoring a bill codenamed Nigeria Religious Freedom and Accountability Act of 2026, seeking to designate Fulani bandits as terrorists, seeking to sanction Mietiala, because that Mietiala is the operator body of every Fulani in Nigeria. And when government will say, let us address this security, they say they don't want state police. Yes, their people are roaming all over the places, killing people. Recently, we saw a group of Fulani herders in Kano State fully armed with sophisticated weapons. And you are saying they should not divide the country. So people should just watch and leave you as you kill people, have free day. So for me, there's no better way to say the sanctity of life, just like that American, of course, a former.
Sultan saying for his greedy pop interest.
Of course, because they know they have been leveraging on the resources of the country, and they know that once they remove that resources from their hands, of course, they'll be handicapped. It's like a child that has been spoon-fed. If you want to remove the feeding bottle from his mouth, he will start crying. So what you are seeing is a cry that the food they have been feeding on want to be removed from their mouth. And I want to say that they cannot sustain it, because whether they like it or not, you are be feeding on other people's God-given resources. Whereas you have your own. The land resources you have, they claim to have vast land, no argument. They should go and cultivate it to earn a living. After all, some places in the world do not have crude oil, do not have solid mineral. What they have is that land resources, and they leverage on it to do agriculture, and they are feeding on it. So they should as well go and leverage on the land resources they have to cultivate it to fund their own country, rather than waiting to leverage on, continue leveraging on resources of other people, and you don't want to you don't want to let it go. And if as they are leveraging on it, they are even making peace with everybody, it's a different thing. If we are not witnessing the level of killings, banditry, terrorism as we witness currently, and if their people are not the one perpetrating this, it's a different thing. So you cannot be killing somebody and be asking the person not to cry. That is simply what it means when you hear people say, let us remain together as one country. Because it means you are beating somebody, you say don't cry. It's not possible. And the reason you see international bodies, international personalities keying into this, because they are seeing the genuineness of this fight. Because ordinarily, it was not possible to buy into Israeli asset to have them support such move. It was not easy to see someone like my Arnold coming to say this. It was not easy to see that, of course, former American ambassador to come and tell to say divide the country for the sanctity of human life. Because as far as I'm concerned, there is life is sacrosanct. We cannot create life, so we ought to guide it jealously. But look at the recklessness with which the Fulani terrorists take life. Life have become meaningless, valueless in Nigeria because of the activities. So for me, I want to believe that the time has come for the world to give attention to issue of Biafra. And I think I'm happy that we are seeing attention, because whether we like it or not, if Israeli Nasser finally come to a point where they vote for Biafra holistically and recognize it, the next thing you are going to see, they will pass it to the prime minister, talking about Benjamin Netanyahu, who in turn go and lobby the Oval Office, talking about Trump's government. Do not forget that Trump and America have veto power over UN General Assembly voting. So the next thing you are likely going to see is America coming up with a proclamation to UN for voting. And if they, even if they even vote against it, America have veto power over UN General Assembly voting. Once he sends some proclamation, whether rightly or wrongly in terms of the voting, Trump will veto it and they come and enforce it. So I think that is what they are even avoiding. That currently we are seeing some people are pushing that they want Anioma State to compensate the Igbos. I want to say it's too late.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.